ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। बाल जवानी अर बिरद फुन तीन अवस्था जान, कहो नानक हर भजन बिन बिरथा सब ही मान। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। 35th श्लोक गुरु तेग बहादुर जी पातशाह जी they say बाल जवानी अर बिरद फुन तीन अवस्था जान। So Bal referring to Bal means childhood. Bal Jawani, and Jawani translates to youth. Bal Jawani, Ar means and. Bird Fun. Fun means then, and then they say, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji saying, after youth, then comes Bird. Bird means old age. Bal Jawani Ar Bird Fun, Teen Avastha Jaan. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paat is saying, no. John, know these three states that our physical body goes through. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they go on to say that Kahu Nanak har bhajan bin birtha sab hi maan. They're saying, but without the bhajan as we've translated before, without meditating on har, without meditating on Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji, Kahu Nanak, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah Ji saying har bhajan bin birtha sab hi maan. Birtha means waste. Sab, know all of these three states of our life, from all the way from childhood to old age. But if we've not meditated on Vaheguru Ji, this is know all of these to have just gone to complete waste. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And they say that pehle pyar lagga than dod. What does that child do when he first comes into this world? When a child first enters this world, they say that he has that love for his mother's milk. Then they say that duje mai baap ki sud. Then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatshah say, then that child, he starts to grow more consciousness and starts to have recognition of his mother and father. Duje mai baap ki sud. Then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatshah is saying that tije paiya bhabhi babe. And then that child starts to recognize other faces around him as well, or her. Whether that be paiya meaning brother, siblings, and then you got bhabhi, sister-in-law, then you got your babe, which is your sister. Just basically, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatshah is sketching out here for us and saying that how this child is getting more and more now engrossed within this world. Just like Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji tell us this as well, that maat garbh mein aapan simran de. That Vaheguru Ji has themselves given that meditation and remembrance of God to that child when that child is in the mother's womb. And that can be meditation, meaning that child is in complete bana, is in complete, living in complete will of God, and is just being as it's meant to be being within that womb. And that's what it means when you're completely immersed in meditation. It's not like that child has a choice at that point of trying to escape and doing something else. It's living in complete acceptance. But when that child comes out, lagi trishna, Paatshah Ji says then that trishna starts to take over. And that trishna is then the desire. But remember, Sangat Ji, that desire is needed as well to live. So that trishna is actually something that is needed to survive. Live chodki, lagi trishna. But the issue is when the live starts to break, when that connection starts to break. And when we start to get more and more engrossed in this actual world, and our mind starts to go further and further away from Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji, that is when the issue actually starts to occur. And then this world takes over, then it takes its course. Maya amr vartaya eh maya jit har upje moh upje pau dooja laya. And what happens is it actually then gets us engrossed and we get stuck in attachment. So if we get caught up in them and get attached to all of these things and don't see anything beyond that, that's when we get into trouble. Guru Sahib Ji says, just like that frog, it's fallen into that deep well. Koop bharyo jaise dadra. Koop is a deep well. Koop bharyo, and imagine this deep well just full of frogs. And those frogs haven't seen the outside world. All they know is that well. Koop bharyo jaise. And that's what happens, that sometimes we go throughout our whole life and we just get caught up in that little well. And all we see is accumulating this wealth, and is just we get caught up in khan peen, in the taste of this tongue, in just food and drink and just going out for meals and doing all of these things. But we actually forgot the essence of life, Guru Sahib ji saying was actually to have that self-realization and to reach that avastha of Sahaj, that what we keep speaking about throughout, that Sahajano Sab Lochdi. And when we actually then reach that avastha of unconditional love, then it says once you're connected, once you got that connection to Akal Purkh, and we realize our soul, and then we see that same soul within everyone else, everything else, and then we start to live a more meaningful life. Then we start serving others. We start serving everything around us. And then when we reach that place of unconditional love, there's no pain and there's no hurt. It's only because of the attachment to these things. So we've got to become conscious of all these stages that we go through in our life. But are we just going through them completely asleep and letting them engross us and becoming engrossed in all of those things? Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.